Today we are going to be upgrading this Best Choice Products Land Rover Discovery with new motors, gearboxes, and controller from ML Toys. These are their new custom-made Paragon gearboxes. Didn't exist before for this style car. It should be pretty straightforward. Number one would be to remove the two screws that hold the seat in place. Again, you can just use your number 2 Phillips screwdriver, or if you're lazy, you can use a cordless drill. We'll save those off to the side, pop the seat out. I have a battery tender I connect to this, as well as a larger battery I put in. So that's why I'm going to need the 10mm to take off those bolts. But to take off the old motor controller, all you need is a Phillips head screwdriver, and obviously a bit of a bird's nest of wires in here, but we'll clean that up next. When you disconnect your battery, generally helps to do the ground first. Granted, this whole thing's plastic, so there's no real chance of shock here. Alright, so we got that disconnected. I'm going to keep my main power off to the side here so I keep everything straight. Pull the battery out of the way just to get more room in here. You can see I modified the bottom of mine just to fit that higher battery, just taller battery. I also added a little rack, I'll show you later, that is how the yard cart hooks up to the back of this like a trailer, so the kids can help around the yard. So now we're going to pull out the motor controller. We'll get that disconnected. As you can see, this car has been well loved. Gets a lot of use when there's no snow out. Alright, and we'll just pop off all these old wires. I originally decided to make this upgrade as my son got older, so that way he could help out with the yard work. But our yard is pretty hilly, so there we go. This couldn't do it before. I'm hoping that the new Paragon 775 kit. For this next step here, I find it easiest if you flip the car upside down, put some blocks under the hood so you don't crush the windshield and snap it off. To pop off the hub, get a flat blade screwdriver, work it in between the wheel and tire, pop it out. If you go nice and gentle, you won't break it. You got to pop those off on both sides, and like I said, this nut here, you can use a 1/2 inch or 13 mil, whatever you happen to have on hand, both will work. I find the 1/2 inch fits a little tighter. Right, I have a 1/2 inch socket on my impact and a 1/2 inch wrench. You're going to have to reach both sides with your hands, hold one nut steady with the wrench, and then go in reverse on the other side with the impact. Typically only one nut and washer will come off. The other one will be stuck on the end of the axle. I'm probably just going to pull the whole thing off, kind of like a skewer for grilling, and then slide the whole thing back together once I get the gearboxes in place. You're also going to need your driver bit or screwdriver to take off these 2 screws on each side, and so we can change these gearboxes out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take these screws out here. Just want to go gentle with it. Like I said, you don't have to have a impact or a drill. You can do it by hand. Just for the sake of me not wanting to do that, I'm going to run the drill. Alright, now I'm going to slide this axle all out this way because only the nut and washer came off my left side here. So I'll pop it through and I'll wiggle it off. You can see motors are starting to separate from that housing. The wheels just slip right off out of this white piece here on the gearbox, which is going to match up with our new gearboxes. I'm going to pull this gearbox out. Like I said, the wiring should fit right onto the new gearbox assemblies. So I'm going to slide this the rest of the way out, and we will put the new one in. Alright, so we have our new gearboxes here. Our old ones are hanging out. We'll just check, make sure these fit. Everything looks good. So we're going to pull these motors out, and I don't know if it's the case for all of them, but at least mine are soldered onto the factory motors. So I'm going to cut these wires off to join them to the wire kit they gave us here for the splice. I'm going to cut one at a time, take my wire strippers. I'm going to strip this wire. Let's see, looks like should be good there. So I'm going to take that, twist up the wire after you strip it. It's going to go into this connector here. You just pop these tabs up, real easy. Right. For these wire connectors, you got to kind of force these open one at a time as far as you can, and then that'll open up real good for you. Slide that red in on the one side, lock it down all the way. That's much better. Again, twist up the connector wire they gave you, keep red on red side, and we'll do the same for black side. So there's red. I'm going to cut and strip black. And if you don't have wire strippers, it's not a big deal. You can score it, pull it off with a knife. You could do it with a set of side cutters or needle nose pliers with the cutting line on there, the cutting blade. It's just a little bit more difficult to get your muscles to gently grab just the insulation and not the wire on the inside. So it's definitely all doable. On the plus side, because you had to cut the wires off, now you know which side should be positive and negative on the new motor going in. All right. And it looks like on this side, my factory motor, I had black going to the red dot. So I'll do the same thing here. Black to the red dot. Red to the other side. And we'll slide this all back in. Just like that. I'm going to reattach this block to hold that gearbox in place. Actually, it looks like I might have to modify this a little bit, make some clearance on here. Either that or get some longer screws. So as you can see, I ended up you can sand these down using the top of a belt sander or something you have there. File it, whatever you want to do. Or you can 3D print new block. I have 3D printed new blocks just because I know it'll be stronger. I printed them solid, PLA. So I can use the original length screws. Everything lines up. I'm going to get this back on my gearbox here. I'll put that back where it goes. There's little pockets or recesses on the bottom of the blocks, just like the factory ones. And I can attach that file if anybody wants it. I just figure it'll be stronger, so I might as well do it that way. Now this is going to go back through the hole here, all the way through the other side. Stop a little short of the next gearbox. I'll strip these wires and put them on the connector. Again, you want to keep from cutting the inside of your wires there. Just cut the insulation part. These wire strippers are pretty cheap. You can get them from any hardware store like Harbor Freight, Amazon, anything like that. Again, red to red, black to black. They lock in good. Alright, so get the other motor. This is going to plug right on there again. And if these are backwards, we can check when we plug everything in on top. We can just pop these off. There's access inside to pop off their wires and run it the other way. So I'm going to run red to red on this side, black to black. That goes back in like that. I can slide the axle the rest of the way through here. Oh, you know what? And reattach this bit. And we actually have bushings that come in the kit. These can go inside your gearbox. So I'm actually have to pull this one back out. I forgot to slide that in there. Slide that in, and put my axle in. Now, I'm not sure the bushings are going to do much, but they did include them, so I am going to put them in there. Put the screws back in these new blocks. We'll put the other wheel back on. Everything's lining up good. There we go, got that motor in better. Got the washer and nut. It's a nylock nut. It's got nylon on the outside of your threads there to keep everything in place. We'll switch back to the 1/2-inch wrench and impact. Tighten that back up. You don't got to go crazy tight with it. And then we'll line the clips back up on the wheels and the slots where they go, and pop those back into place. Shaking the camera pretty good. All right. Now we're good to flip this back over. I'll flip it back over and we'll pick up from there. All right, now I decided to switch to 24 volts to get the most out of these motors, the Paragons with the gearboxes. So I have one 12 volt 20 amp in the front with a battery box. I ran these 10 gauge wires underneath in the car. They have that little channel there, that black strip there you can run wires through. And I have it ran in series to this back battery. All right, I'm not going to go through how to do that, but either way, hooking up the board's pretty easy. There's already a screw mount for this larger size controller in the front, and the rear is the same as the original. But these wiring looms are pretty chaotic, so I would get that screwed in first and then start clipping away. So I'm going to start with the main control here for like your pedals, switches, stuff like that. I'll tidy all this wiring up another time, but this is how yours is going to look. You have this one here for, I think, your power steering, if you have the remote control and all that. Your main power in. This white plug goes on the end. And then your motors. If you have 4-wheel drive, you'll have 2 of these guys. If you only have 2-wheel, it doesn't matter which one you put it in. Just stick it in there. So that's all that. Try to tuck all of this neatly away. Try to make sure your vent fan here has some clearance for air circulation. Apart from that, it's good to go. Just give her a little test here. So I'm running at 24.72 volts. The headlights and taillights still seem to be functioning. So they don't care about being 20 volt converted instead of just 12. I strapped that front battery down because if they're going uphill, they don't want to tip over on them. But we have forward, reverse, and then I did check, and the high and low speed do still affect it. I'll tell you right now though, if you put it on high speed, you're going to be at a pretty quick jog trying to keep up with your kids if your remote control doesn't work for your parking brake. So I'd keep it on low until you trust them. We'll just snap the seat back in. I got rid of my battery tender hookup for this because running two batteries in series like that, you're asking for trouble if someone doesn't know what they're doing. So